And to you all, thank you for being here today. My wife and I met on the 10th of August 2010, 2 years to the day. And we met at a lively bar in Mayfair called Babel. This followed to our first official date. And there were two plans. One drink and the story of my flatmate being locked out, or dinner at a local restaurant. I think the story and the outcome of that is clear to see today. When friends asked me to describe Katherine with a K, my description followed something like this. She reminds me of the characters from a Disney movie. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Starting with the 7 characters, Doc, the glass-wearing dwarf who likes to make decisions quickly. Grumpy, who likes to see things running smoothly and systematically. Happy, very likeable, warm and energetic, although she tries to get her own way. Sleepy, too often do we find Katherine daydreaming, or even sleeping on the sofa, even during the BBC One show at 7 PM. Bashful, hard-working, warm and generous. She's very good in remembering events, facts and figures. Sneezy. Organised, methodical, although I think she should hold the world record for sneezing. Do. She's a bit of an animal lover, but she has her Bridget Jones and Miranda Hart moments, and her drunken hiccups. And of course, Snow White herself, for her beauty. Katherine, you look beautiful today. Let me share some magical moments Katherine and I have had. Over the past 2 years, we've travelled together in Paris, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Thailand, Sardinia, Switzerland, where we got engaged, and Jersey, and more recently, to Cornwall. Now, whenever Katherine books a holiday, there is a disaster of some sort. Paris, she discovered she is no longer a vegetarian. Amsterdam, she rinsed her contact lens in acid solution and thought it was the rinsing solution, which requires an emergency call from Amsterdam to Dorperton to save them. Copenhagen, it was minus 15 degrees and we're just not prepared for it. Thailand, we arrived just after the floods and mudslides and our brown water baths. Sardinia, the booking into a backpackers resort, and another story I'll come back to in a moment. And Jersey and Cornwall, it rained and poured all the time we were there. So we've shared some holiday moments together in some appalling conditions. So Katherine, from this point onwards, I'm booking the holidays. I think you probably worked out what we're doing in terms of our honeymoon, which we depart on Thursday next week. And we travel. You don't know? We're just going to find out now. And basically we leave from London Victoria on a train that goes to Paris, then on to Innsbruck, Austria, from Innsbruck, Austria to Verona, and then on to Venice in Italy on a lovely train called the Orient Express. And then we go from Venice on to Athens, Greece, and then on to Santorini and Mykonos, and then fly back to London, Gatwick, and that is On one successful getaway, I was able to persuade Katherine to do a long weekend in Lausanne in Switzerland. And on day 2, I persuaded her to climb up the hill to the Cathedral Notre Dame. And we entered the cathedral. And in the corner of my eye, I was looking for the staircase to the top of the tower to do the marriage proposal. Unfortunately, it was closed. What I didn't realise was Katherine was walking me down the aisle doing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, the proposal came in the gardens of the cathedral, looking over the Lake of Geneva, and she said yes. So back to Sardinia, and our delightful stay in a remote private villa in the hills of southern Sardinia, with no neighbours, or so we thought. On night 4 of 7, I woke up in the middle of the night and turned to Katherine. "Did you just scratch my eyebrow?" Her sleepy response came back and said, "No." A second later, I leapt up and realised that something scrambled across the room. And with the lights on, I came to realise that something had been scratching my eyebrows and forehead. Let's say we did not rest for the rest of the week. In fact, on our last night, we found rummaging in the chest of drawers a very large rat, which leapt out of the chest of drawers and shot into a nearby cupboard. At this point, I found Katherine standing on the top of the sofa at one end of the corridor, and the rat at the other end of the corridor, hiding in the cupboard. So, the standoff began. Clearly, one had to leave the building. The rat, or Katherine. After a bit of prodding, not Katherine, may I hasten, the rat ran between my legs and shot down the corridor towards the sofa with Katherine standing on it. The rat did not pass out the other side, at which point Katherine screamed and leapt from the sofa and ran back down the corridor and locked herself in a nearby bedroom. I was left the task of encouraging the rat to leave the building. After some failed efforts, the rat was playing a great game of hide and seek. Now guys, what would you do in this situation? After several nights of not being able to get any kip, I decided on a regrettable approach. Katherine, I can now declare, when I said the rat had left the villa that night, I might have told you a little porky. I never found the rat. I never saw the rat leave the building, but you did get a good night's sleep. I've also learned what makes Katherine happy. It became obvious to me early on in the relationship that I'm actually not her number 1. I think I'm number 6. Ahead of me are 5 famous people called Jason, Mark, Robbie, Gary, Howard. Did I get them in the right order? Those of you who don't know, these are the members of a boy band called Take That, which Katherine has obsessed about since her childhood. Katherine, I've noticed on your Facebook page you refer to your 5 boyfriends and your pictures with them. Maybe stalking or something. Also, I came to realise that Katherine has a collection of endearing nicknames. Now, I'm not sure which of them I prefer. Catho, Ickle, Groves, Bridget, Kirsty. To me, you have become my Katherine. I'm really looking forward to being your husband and looking after you and sharing the rest of our lives together. Now, my Katherine has become a bit of an expression in the Groves household. Whenever I've said, Katherine has done this or that, my mother-in-law's response has been, my Katherine would never have done this. I can declare your Katherine did buy 16 bridesmaids' dresses. Apparently the website was not confirming the order, and Katherine repeated the shopping basket experience 8 times over with 8 payments, with the result of 16 dresses arriving on our doorstep the following week. On a serious note, Caroline, you are a wonderful mother-in-law, and I'm looking forward to being your son-in-law. You've done a wonderful and fantastic job in organising today, with a house move and preparing for 2 weddings in 1 year is absolutely commendable. Very good. As appreciation of our thanks,